Hello everybody, welcome to this instruction video. In this video I'd like to show you part 5 of the Elements Crochet Along designed by Sandra from Hooks and Yarn. In part 6 we're going to be turning our square, where we started with in part 1, into a circle. So at the end of part 5 you're going to have a circle. The yarn that I'm using for elements is Scheepjes Stonewashed yarn in 5 different shades. All colors that I'm using are available on my blog. I'm using that in combination with a 4mm hook. I'll take you step by step through the rounds that make up part 5. Hope it's a useful video for you, and thank you for watching. Round 38, a new color yarn on my hook. We're going to start on the arc. You've got this front post stitch here. I'm going to start by making a front post double crochet around that front post stitch. So around this stitch, make a front post double crochet. In the next 37 stitches, I'm going to do a back post half double. This is the next stitch. It's immediately that first stitch there. That's the next one. That's the first half double, followed by a second. We're going to do 37 of these. Third stitch. Now I've done 3. You see these first 3 stitches after the front post. I've now done 3 back post half doubles. Continue until you have 37. So I'll just make a jump in the video. I've now done 37 of these back post half double crochets, and you're now on what used to be your corner. You've got these 5 stitches here. We're going to do in the center one. In the center we're going to do a front post treble, so around the third of these 5. This stitch there, going to do a front post treble. So twice over, around that stitch, pick up your yarn and bring up. There you go. Then immediately on the next stitch, start a back post half double again, and this time it's 36 back post half doubles. So immediately in the next stitch, so it's going to be that one there. It's 1, 2, I'm going to do 36, 3, 4, repeat until you've done 36. 36 back post half double crochets brings you again back to our starting point. This is the arc. And here's the front post stitch. We're going to do a front post double crochet around that stitch again. And now you're back where you started. So on the next stitch, it's going to be that one there, with back post half double. And this is the first of 37. So you're doing 37, then front post stitch, and then do 36, and then a front post. 37, 36, so it's not completely symmetrical. So go all the way around and we get to the first stitch. That's that standing front post double crochet. Close with a slip stitch. Round 39, going to continue where we joined with a slip stitch. Going to make a chain 2. This counts as my first half double. Now around this front post double crochet, I'm going to do a front post double. So around that front post double crochet, do a front post double. We're now going to work a half double on the next 37 stitches. What we're going to be doing is we're going to make a front post stitch and then 37 half doubles. then again a front post stitch and 37 half doubles. So that's the rhythm that you want, 37 stitches between all your front posts. So this was a front post double crochet. I'm going to go to the first available stitch. That's this this back post half double here. That's the first one I'm going to work on, because you've got 37 of these half doubles now, so I'm going to work one on each of those. So that's 1, 2, 3, and you're going to continue to have 37, 5, like so. So at this point your front post stitch here already contains a half double. That's the chain 2, and then on your next stitch, so that's immediately, that's that first half double there, continue and work one on each. And I'll see you on the other side. I've now done 37 half doubles, and I'm now in what used to be the old corner. The next stitch is the front post stitch from the previous round. We're going to make a front post stitch on that, so a front post double crochet on that stitch. We're going to now again work 37 half doubles, starting on this first back post half double again. On the first back post half double, to work the first stitch, and then work a half double on the next 37, and number 37 will fall in the next front post stitch, because you only had 36 here from the previous round, if you remember correctly. So you're going to, but you're now going to work 37 half doubles. So I've now worked 37 half doubles, front post double crochet, and then 37 half doubles again. Continue until you're at the arc, and then I'll show you this point here again. I've now worked 37 half doubles, and I'm currently on the arc again. So here's the arc. Number 37 is worked in the front post stitch. That's number 37 there. And that's also the chain 2 we started with. That's this last half double. That's equivalent to that stitch. So now I'm going to start the repeat unit again. So a front post double crochet around the front post stitch. And then on the next stitch, which is this half double here, I'm going to work a half double. So on those back post stitches, work a half double. Oh dear, my hook just got a bit snagged. So now I've worked 2 half doubles, again the first of 37. The rhythm that you're going for here is that you have a front post stitch and then 37 half doubles, and then a front post stitch and 37 half doubles, and that's the rhythm you're going to have on all of these. So here was this front post stitch and then 37 on either side. At the end of this round you should have 304 stitches. So go all the way around and then close here on this first stitch. So in your last repeat you're only going to work 36, because you had this chain 2 here to start with. So you can close on that chain 2, and then you're ready for the next round. Round 40. New color yarn on my hook, and we're going to start in the front post double crochet of a stitch that you've got here aligned with an old corner. This used to be a corner, so you've also got the arc. That's on this side here. That's the arc. You're not going to start on the arc, but on the old corner that used to have 5 trebles here. Now I'm going to start on that front post stitch with a back post stitch. I'm going to yarn over and just hold on to it to make a standing stitch, and then start with a back post double crochet around that stitch.
You have to do a back post double on the next 14 stitches also. So this is going to be 15 in total. So that was one. Then on the next one is 2. And I'm just going to fold my work inward because my hook keeps getting stuck here. So I'm just going to fold my work in. So that was 2. And this is 3. So actually that's 2 plus 1. So I've now done 2 of those 14. 3 back post double crochets. I've now done 3. And just continue until you have 14 of these, plus the standing one will come to 15. I now have 14 back post double crochets plus the first standing back post double, so that brings me up to 15. On the next stitch, and you've now come to the height of the arc, you see here's the arc that's started, so that's more or less where you are now. On the next stitch, you're going to do 2 back post double crochets. The first one is of course exactly the same as before, so you do a back post double crochet, that's the first, and then you do the second one, and you're kind of going to do it below the first one. So if you just look at where you are, you see there's the first one, and I've just got a bit below, so you're kind of stacking them behind one another. 2. So that's the 2 back post double crochet. So you're doing an increase here. We're now going to start the repeat unit. The repeat unit starts with a back post double on the next 46 stitches. I'm just going to do the first one. That's this one here. That's a back post double. And I'm going to mark this stitch. Now I'm just going to do that to help me keep count of where my repeat units are. So you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but this is the start of the repeat unit, so this is just to help me count. So that was 1, and then here comes 2. I'm going to do 46 of these. That's 2 and 3, 4, etc. Continue until you have 46. I've done 46 back post double crochets. Where I'm at the moment is kind of globally at the end of the arc, and here's the start of the next corner. So just to give you an idea of where I am globally, I'm going to do a back post double crochet on the next stitch. Two back post doubles on the next stitch. We're going to stack those again on top of one another. This is the first one, and then the next one comes below so that they stack. So the next one is below that one if you look at it from the back. And let me just do that again. Keep getting snagged into the first stitch. There we go. It's 2 back post doubles around that same stitch. I'm going to continue and work 28 back post doubles. And then that's going to bring you to the end of the repeat unit. This is number 1, 2. I'm going to continue until I've got 28, and if everything went correct, number 14, these that I'm working now, should fall in this front post stitch. I'm just going to continue and work 28, and then double check, it's a mark point for you, number 14 should fall here in this front post stitch. I've worked 28 back post double crochets here. If you just go to the increase, here I did the increase, so you see here are those 2 back post stitches in one. Then number 14 should fall here in the treble, so let me just double check that. So here is the increase and the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yes, number 14 is here around the back post, is a back post around this treble. So that's a checkpoint for you. And then I've got 14 more, brings me to this point here. And this is the end of the repeat unit. So my next stitch is going to be the start of the next repeat unit. And that's going to start with a, oh sorry, I've not finished the end of the repeat unit. I still need to do 2 back post double crochets on the next stitch. So this is an increase again. So it's 1 and 2. So again, stacking them with the one on behind the other. So after the 28 back post double crochets, again an increase, and now you're at the end of the repeat unit. The next stitch, you're going to start with the back post doubles in the next 46. So the next one is going to be this one here, back post double, and again I'm just going to mark that stitch because that's the first of 46, and this is just to help me count my repeats. I'm just going to mark this stitch. So this is the first of 46, and this stitch is exactly the same as this first stitch that I marked. So I'm going to do this, well, 3 more times, and then on my last repeat, these from that standing stitch to here, you're just going to skip that on the last repeat. So you won't work 28 back post doubles, but you work a few stitches less. And when you get here to your last one, close there on that first stitch. And just keep track. It's 46 back post doubles, an increase, 28 back post doubles, and an increase. So that's go all the way round.
Round 41. I'm actually using the same color yarn as in round 40, but we're starting in a different position, so that's why I've fastened off the previous round and now I've got the same color yarn on my hook. We're going to start with an arc. You've got the arc here. So here are all the trebles from the arc. And here in the center, on this front post stitch, we're going to start there with a standing front post treble. So that means twice over. Hold on to all of these loops. And around that stitch, start with a front post stitch. So 1, 2, 3. That's your starting stitch, the front post treble. We're now going to do a double crochet cluster in every stitch for the next 78 stitches. So that's quite a few stitches. So this is in essence a double crochet 2 together, but worked in one stitch. So in one stitch you work a double crochet 2 together. That's in essence what we're going to do. If you just look to the back, this is, you see here's a stitch a bit to the right of the treble, and this one a bit here to the left. Treble's kind of here in the middle. I'm going to take that one there. Start the yarn over. In that stitch, you see it's maybe just a little to the back of your work. That stitch there. And then there's the first leg, the double crochet 2 together, then yarn over. And in the same stitch, again, take off 2 loops, 3 loops on your hook, take them all off. That was the first one. And you're going to do this 78 times, which will bring you to the next arc. That's 2. And then this is 3. And then the same stitch. So I've now done 3. You can see how you're going to get a very full edge here on this round. So I'm going to continue, go all the way around. No, actually it's work 78, and then I'll show you the treble again, and then that you do all the way around. But now you've now done 3, do 78 of these double crochet clusters in each stitch. After 78 of these clusters, you're at the next arc. See, here's that front post stitch again. So repeat everything. So that's a front post treble around that front post, followed by again 78. So in the next stitch, going to be that one there, with again a cluster. So that's a double crochet 2 together in the one stitch. So that was again the first of 78. Repeat this all the way around, and when you get here to this first stitch, just close on that standing stitch. So next round we're going to use the same color yarn, so leave your yarn attached. Round 42. This is an easy round and also a great round to adjust your stitch count if your stitch count happens to be off. We're going to work a front post single crochet on every stitch. That's what we're going to be doing. We're currently here in the treble, the front post treble. I'm just going to chain 1. This is not a stitch, this is just to get you to the correct working height. And then a front post single crochet around that treble. And around the next cluster, which is that one there, also work a front post. And the next one, again a front post. And continue like this all the way around every cluster stitch and every front post stitch you work a front post single crochet. And when you're all the way around, you will have had 316 of these stitches, these front post stitches. If your stitch count is off, just add or do one less as you need to get your stitch count correct. So at the end of this round, you've got 316 front post single crochets. Round 43, last round of this part. A new color yarn on my hook. And this round we're going to work in the stitches behind the last round. Here's round 42, there's these front post stitches. Going to leave those unworked and go here to the back where you've got the stitches from round 41. We're going to work in those. And we're going to start in the front post treble. You've got here the front post treble, and if you look to the back, that's that stitch there. That's the front post. Going to work 2 single crochets in the front post stitch, and that stitch, so that one, and then all the others we work 1 single crochet at the front post, which is, oh no, it's actually this one. Let's see if I just really double check which stitch it is. Yes, this is the front post stitch there. So if I just draw this line up, it's that one. Work 2 single crochets in here. So the first one is a standing single. That's 1 and 2 singles, and then in the next stitch I work 1 single. And I'm going to continue this until I'm all the way around, where you get to the next treble, you again work 2 singles. So you're going to continue, and when you get to the next treble, which is here, that next treble you're going to work 2 singles and then 1 single again in each stitch. You have 78 single crochets, which will then bring you to the next treble. So 78 between increases, then 2 singles, and then again 78 single crochets, 1 in each stitch. Go all the way around and then close on this first stitch with a slip stitch. When you've completed all these single crochet stitches, this is what your work looks like. It's a circle at this point, but you notice that it bobbles still a little bit. Important, block your work at this point. So make it a nice circle and pin that down, make it properly wet and really pin it down that it stays in that circular shape, and let it dry. And then you're finished with the part, what are we at? 5 already. I hope to see you next week for part 6.